Commander Runningcloud here, but you can just call me Silver Rain. Silver Rain is my name. Interstitial living spaces. My last live stream was cut off when I was like halfway through it, and I understand that I was probably being very alarming in a lot of ways. You know, when I get too deep into it, it can be scary, I think, for other people. But my current life is so scary that projecting into the future is my relief. So let's continue with it, and I'll try to be a little more considerate, because they turned off the Wi-Fi here, which means the local hackers didn't like what they were hearing. Or maybe YouTube decided to censor me. I'm not really sure, but I'll try to be more careful either way. So, what is an interstitial space? An interstitial space is interstitial means between two things. It's between two like things in existence. So interstitial space is the way that I'm describing this living situation that I'm in right now, where I'm fully occupying a reality that's horrible. But I have reason to believe that I'm on my way in transition to a reality that's great. So negotiating the interstitial spaces is the real challenge, because I'm sure that people in concentration camps become delusional, especially if they're being subjected to torture and they're just like tied down like a bug or something, and they're being tortured. I'm sure that they escape in their minds. So let me stress again that I don't know how much of anything I say is true or factual. It's just my reality that has been evolving and developing. And I have every reason to believe a reality that's being created. But why wouldn't I believe it? Why wouldn't I? So an interstitial space, living space, is the space that we're in between realities. It's like we know that the past is over. We know that those structures are falling apart, but we're still existing with the conditions that those structures created for us. We're still living in that space where old people aren't being taken care of, and young people are not being educated properly, and we just have all kinds of things violating our values and challenging us as human beings. Okay? So in this interstitial space, my way of coping is to focus on the future of things. Now, education is a value very important to me. And I think that most people value education. Most people want to understand what they see, and most people want to keep seeing things. We want to see things, and we want to know what those things are and understand them. So while it will be important to look back as we're developing the new systems, it's much, much better for us to keep our minds on the future. Not what did we get before, But what do we want? I do not want propaganda in education. I do not want indoctrination in education. I just want the facts and the procedures. I don't want to know who did it, what names are associated with it. It's irrelevant who did it. Once it becomes a part of my knowledge base, it's mine. So what does it matter to know the names of the individuals credited with creating things, even bodies of knowledge? Okay, now sometimes using an individual's name helps you index an entire body of knowledge, which we'll call a discourse. A discourse is all of the conversations that take place under a certain topic. Under a certain topic, you have a rubric of data, and this data forms a discourse. So sometimes, just for simplification, you're going to want to use a name. But if I were designing education in the future, all the names would describe the process instead of somebody that may have discovered it. Now, sure, when you get men like Terrence Howard coming up with brand new directions in knowledge, you want to give credit where credit is due. Sure you do. But ultimately, terms that define what he found are going to be much more important than terms named after him or named after him. However, you could see the importance of his knowledge in the timeline of our existence, of our knowledge gathering existence. But if we want to get rid of names of the past, we have to get rid of names of the future as well. Because unless you can actually talk to that person, does it really matter who they were? Oh my goodness. I just stumbled upon another area of conversation that influences this naming thing. There are a lot of eternals living on the planet Earth. A lot of the mythical beings, mythical people that we've heard of are actually people that didn't die. We've had ETs come here and contribute to our society with longer lifespans than we have. But we've also had Eternals. Now, Eternals are leaving with me because you wouldn't leave Eternals on a dying planet. And I'm just talking about social death. I'm not talking about physical death. I have every reason to believe that the earth continues on and that the people on the earth continue on. I have every reason to believe that because the people of the earth deserve that. They deserve to be believed in. But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to do some time traveling using that 20 and back program to redesign some of the systems that are strangling and choking us right now. Hopefully, before people in my generation die, I'll be able to get out and get back here. Time travel makes that possible. Interstitial space is the space between that's usually not existing. It's a space that is created because of the going and coming of things. Okay? So as time moves along in a little bubble, the past and the present move on, but there's a big gap between the present and the future because all the paradigms are changing. They're all changing, aren't they? And we're looking at a brave new world, but not necessarily the one that Huxley warned us about. And Huxley actually existed beyond his time as well, and developed other things. So a lot of the Eternals you'll find them to be extremely wealthy because they've had a lot of time to gather assets, and you'll find them in positions of leadership because they've been here long enough to not only understand, but to be the engineers and architects of many things. Some of them have worked to warn and protect us. Some of them have worked to exploit us. And the basic nature of each one of them has not changed. They are still who they are. So every eternal is not welcome in the future that I'm moving to. Interstitial spaces. That's really where we are. Well, I don't have anything more to say. I'm just feeling a great deal of anxiety. That's why I keep getting on and giving little blurbs. And I don't want to be cut off through the Wi-Fi or through YouTube. So I'll just continue to say that everything I'm saying could be a delusion that my mind has created to protect myself from this existence I'm living. But I do have proof that this is my existence. I do have proof that the reality I'm living in is real. But I don't have proof of the future. I only have speculation. And speculation is a big part of the interstitial spaces that we are living in. So I'm going to go on and try to distract myself with some entertainment, maybe even, go to sleep or something so that I don't agitate everyone. I had myself a little dinner, and Foxy still isn't eating. He's still not feeling well from the bad air that we had to breathe earlier today and yesterday and the day before. Well, I guess it's been a while now. And I just hope our enemies don't have any more tricks up their sleeve, because being imprisoned here is quite enough. Do you know how often I think how easy it would be to walk out of here, but how being reminded of the reality of the world outside my door keeps me here? Keeps me here, where they want me to be, right? Well, I hope that the timelines are advancing. I hope that the interstitial space is getting very tiny, because I really feel anxious about surviving, and I really feel cut off here. I feel cut off from things that matter to me. And I'm not an eternal. I'm a temporally limited being presently. So I'm not going to be around forever. I'd like to get rocking. And tonight, I'm going to hang out on YouTube with the people I like watching and try to get through this interstitial living space that we are all in. And at the same time, I'm going to continue to believe that I'll be meeting my people soon, and that we will be embarking on a new adventure that will make us prosperous and productive and happy. That's what I'm banking on. That's how I'm adorning this interstitial space I'm living in. Thank you for joining me.